The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Hey, and hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Reader's Magnet featured author interview, where we dive deep into the world of creativity and inspiration. And together with me right now is the author of the book, Elevate Your Frequency. So please help me welcome Miss Alana Kay Beittel. So, Alana, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. And you know what, to all of our viewers that are just tuning in, we'll be adding we're going to be pinning down the comment section below where you can grab a copy of Elena's book. But in order for you to know what this book is all about and to know who the author is, so Elena, can you please give us a quick introduction of who is the Alana Beittel?
Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Alana Beittel. I am first and foremost a mom to two little boys. I am a wife, and I'm a nurse turned life and performance coach. And newly now I get to add author, which is just wild to say out loud. But underneath all those titles and all those hats I carry, I am a fun loving person. I love to dance. Most importantly, I love helping people step into and truly, and I mean truly, live a life that they are head over heels in love with. And so that is me, and that's what landed me here today.
Love that, love that. Okay, and you know what? Because again, Elena, there are kind of you've been a nurse, you're also a, personal life coach and performance coach as well, and again, a mother of two wild boys, if I remember that correctly on our previous conversation, though.
Love
And
it.
talking more, and now adding on to your repertoire, which is being an author. So I want to ask you, like, what inspired you to write Elevate Your Frequency? Like, was there a personal experience or a breaking point that made you realize that you needed a guide like this for yourself and others?
Yeah, so elevate your frequency really is an evolution of the different seasons of life that I have gone through to get here. And so breaking point for me that even had me step into a space of personal growth and personal development was, as you know, I am a nurse, and I had just reached a point in my life where I wasn't married. I didn't have kids, but I was extremely burnt out the way in which I was doing life. I was picking up all the extra hours, trying to juggle all of the things. And I just reached a place where I didn't recognize who I was in the mirror. I didn't have this energy and this pep in my step. I completely lost it. On my days off, I found myself just poured completely into my couch with zero energy to do anything. And so for me, this book became just a compilation of tools that helped me get out of that place of burnout, that place of stress, and that place of overwhelm. Um, and then as I stepped into my own like coaching for myself and health and wellness, and I started helping other people on their journey, then I started to add to that toolbox of what other people needed and what helped them step into a place of getting them back. And so this book really is just an evolution of different seasons of simple, sustainable ways to get you back. And so I think that was the breaking point for me.
I do love it. And it always goes back to, it has a saying that really rings in my ear, like making sure they can always show up for yourself as well. And
Yes.
showing up for others, assisting them. And you talked about life, how life got really unpredictable in your end. So if it's okay with you, Elena, can you at least share a moment when you thought that everything felt out of control, and what did you do to ground yourself and keep on going then?
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. So for me, I think the most memorable point that stands out for me, and this is also a huge heart and passion behind why I became a life coach in the first place and why I decided to put this book together, was when I was pregnant with my first child. I
Mhm.
lost two brothers. Two of my brothers
Oh,
passed away 6 months apart from each other. And at that point in my life, everything was out of my control. It really felt like nothing was in my control. Um, and leaning on just the small, as I said, small and simple daily tasks to continue to take care of myself through that time, because I was carrying my unborn child and I didn't have a choice but to take care of myself through that time. That for me is what grounded me, what kept me on the course. And honestly, through that, then even just entering motherhood for the first time, any parents, fathers, mothers, it's a whirlwind. And so from one season to, it carried with me to the next season. And then from there, it's like, well, now I'm having child number 2 and now I'm outnumbered, right? And so when we think about just the chaos and the everyday stresses of life, it's seasonal. And what's so beautiful about this book is it carries with you through each season, because you get to make it what you need it in that season. And so these tools really do help you pull in and realign with what is most important to you. Yeah.
And I love that. And you know, yeah, talking more about your book and talking more about what you've been through life. And again, it shows in the title, elevating your frequency. We're talking about your own frequency in these spaces. And again, this idea of this book and you know, talking more about the experience that you had though, it's not easy. Like if I just could comment on that as well. Being a first time parent, because when you are a first time parent, everyone has been through that as well. And it's
Yes.
not easy, it's not an easy thing. And
No.
you have these thoughts in your mind, and it's just up to you and how you can make sure keep on going. Like a lot of people might give up in between through the whirlwinds of and tasks of everyday life, but you
Yeah.
kept on striving. And right now, what you're doing is you're helping these people navigate. If I'm going to borrow your title here, navigate through their own frequency,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
And so, Alina, if I just be asking, talking about frequency here, here and now, and to some of our people here, what will be viewing here. So when did you first become like aware? Because with your own frequency, then, or your own energy, and how did you begin to shift it intentionally?
Ooh, so that I love this question, because for me, the moment that it really began to shift and my eyes really opened up to like, wow, I actually get to raise this, was when
Mhm.
I was going through my own life coaching. Through life coaching, you realize we go through life, there's so many things that are out of our control. And a lot of times we get so focused and fixated on things that are out of our control. And through life coaching, you learn to shift that focus and that energy to things that we can control. And when we begin to shift our energy and our time and our focus on the things we can control, we gain new lenses in life. Um, a lot of us walk through life with one lens, but through life coaching, you gain 2, 3, 4 lenses,
Wow.
multiple perspectives. And when you get
Mhm.
to that place, a lot of times this is the point where my clients tell me they begin to feel at peace. And when they feel at peace, they're happier, they're more energetic, they're showing up at work differently, they're showing up at home differently. And Rob, I know you know this, like when you meet someone that carries that presence, it is an energy. It is a contagious
True.
energy that rubs off on people. And so when
That's
I
true.
say elevate your frequency, that is the type of vibe I'm talking about, is how do we get to a place where we feel more at peace with our life and who we are, but we also have the energy to remember who we are and remember that there's more to life. And then you get to that elevation. And when you get to that elevation and that different energy frequency, you begin to rise people up around you, because they're like, wow, like they have so much energy. It's natural and it's contagious and it's life-giving. And so when I say elevate your frequency, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
And you know, I do agree with that 100%. And I really love the idea, like elevating your own frequency and let other people's rub get that frequency as well, letting them rise up as long as how you feel good as well, and you rising up. And it's just like yeah, it's the same thing with the concept of like when you yawn, when a person is looking at you, they eventually yawn. But if you are having this presence, this upbeat presence, this uplifting presence, people who look up at you or look at you or be around you get this feeling as well. It rubs off of them, and they too have that same frequency as well, and trying to uplift other people in their lives as well. And that is one thing that I really love about again this idea of the book and talking more about guidance in here. So, but again, to some of our viewers though, you might be asking like, this book is available, you can purchase it on Amazon, but this is also a workbook. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Elaine. Okay, this is a workbook that encourages daily structure and self leadership. So, just want to
Yes.
ask you, from a person who has from the author itself. So, what did your own daily routine used to look like, and how does it look like now after doing this inner work? Then,
Oh my gosh, if you go back to the time when I was extremely burnt out, what routine, right? There was no routine other than wake up, put my scrubs on, suck it up, go to work, come home, crash. Like that was my routine. And so when you think about implementing a workbook or new routine, oftentimes our brains go to big, elaborate, I have to change everything, right? And I just want to remind anybody who's listening to this or who gets this book that that's the opposite of this book. This book really just, there's a reason why we craft the bigger vision first. We start with, well, what do I really want my life to look like? What do I want my life to feel like? Because when you craft the bigger vision, then you can begin to implement the steps to make that possible. I would equate it to, imagine getting in a car to go on vacation, but not knowing what the end destination is. If you don't know where you're actually going on vacation, you're going to drive in circles. You're going to hit traffic
Agree.
jams, right? You're going to
Agree.
start and stop and start and stop because you don't know where you're going. Life is the same. If you don't get crystal clear on the life that you want to be living, you can't create the roadmap to get there, and you can't shift the small habits that will actually get you there. Yeah.
Love that. And yeah, it's more like, yeah, you might be a person who achieves things, has a lot of goals in life, but if your goal doesn't really have an end, or again, when you talk about the roadmap for life, if
Yeah.
your roadmap doesn't have an end game, then basically, again, going back with the car, you're gonna be running circles and circles, stopping over again, getting gas, then running over in a circle without a perfect destination where you want to go.
Yes.
And this workbook is what people need. If ever, again, to all of our viewers though, if ever you are lost and if you want to get that guide and know on how you can try to get, because again, burnout is really normal right now within the culture.
It
You'll
is.
get burnout. And I do understand what you say, like getting up, just getting dressed up, then going to work, doing the same routine over and over again develops burnout. But if I just be asking Elaine, because this is just from the top of my head, like
Yeah.
if to all people who are experiencing this right now, and because there will be people who want to grab a copy of this book, but they just need to know on how can they start on their own. And I do believe that you had one cycle that you really personally struggled to break out. So if ever having this cycle of life doing the same thing over and over again, so what helped you to break out final from that cycle then?
Yeah. So if I'm being totally honest, Rob, it's getting crystal
Sure.
clear and honest with yourself of, is this the life that I want to live? Like continue to live? And if the answer is no, then you need to ask yourself, well, what is the life I want to be living? And how do I want to feel every day? We have to work, right? We
Sure.
do. But we can bring, this is where like what we can control comes into play, because we can control the energy we bring to the work that we do. We can control the purpose that comes behind it. And so one small place to start is first ask yourself, is this the road I want to continue going on? Or do I want to pick a new route, right? Do I want to take the fast lane? Do I want to take the scenic route if we're sticking with the car analogy? But really just get honest with yourself first. Realize that no, actually I'm over the everyday mundane motions. I'm over trying to play keep up. What I've oftentimes find with my clients is when they first tell me their goals and their vision, it's not really their goals and their vision. It's what they think their goals and their vision should be based off of society standards. And so when we do coaching and I really genuinely, we get to the heart of it, they're like, no, actually, I don't even want that. That doesn't even motivate me. Right. And so it is, dropping society standards for a second and just remembering a little bit of who you were before life actually took hold of you, and allowing yourself that time to reflect and be like, look, I have a choice here. I can either continue on this path and continue feeling this way, or I can choose a new one that's going to lead me closer to feeling the way I actually want to feel.
Love that. I really love that, Elena. And you know what? To everyone right now, if ever you'll be asking my opinion as well, I would highly suggest for you to choose and click on that link and grab a copy right now of, again, Beittel's book. Again, that is Elevate Your Own Frequency. But you know, Elena, before we wrap up this interview and
Yeah.
before we give the credits, I just want to, if there is one thing that, again, you can tell to your viewers though, and how to say this is, before they pick up this book and before they decide to, is there any message or anything that you want your future readers and readers alike to take away after reading this book? Any message you want to share to them first?
Yes. My message would be, one, you're not stuck. You're
Love that.
not stuck where you are. And two, life is too short to play small. Life is too short not to live the way you want to live. Life is too short to not be present, not be intentional with the time that we have. And that there is more than building our bank account, because we can build our bank account while also build the life we actually want to be living. And so that would be my message, is that I hope that this motivates and inspires you, whether you decide to click and purchase this book or not, to take the next action that's going to get you just one step closer to the life you truly want to be living.
Love that. And again, to all of our viewers and book lovers, again, be sure to grab a copy. And again, be sure to grab a copy of Elena Beittel's book. Again, it's available through Amazon. And Elena, also to all of the techie fans there and want to follow Elena's social. So we'll be popping Elena's socials. That's at Alana Kay Beittel. That's her social on Instagram. Follow it though if you want to get daily updates, want to get some coaching as well. And I do follow her on Instagram as well. So I am a fan of these sessions though, and I really love it. And if ever you want to get in touch with Elena as well and maybe want to book a session, feel free to visit her website. That's www.vibehigherllc.com. So everything will be added in the comment section below. We'll be pinning them down. And again, Elena, just want to say this though. Thank you very much for joining us today. It is a wonderful session. If there's one thing that I can take away after this session is,
Yeah.
I choose to be a person who can share my frequency with the people around me. And I really love that message. And again, to all of our viewers, it's not too late for you guys to also elevate your frequency. So, you know, Elena, one thing, thank you very much for joining us today. It was a wonderful session today. Really loved it.
Thank you, Rob. You know, we need more of this, and we need more of this in our world right now. So spread the love.
Spread the love, everyone. And again, to all of our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. And always remember that every ending is just a new beginning in the world of stories. May your reading adventures be endless and your imagination boundless. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thank you and have a good one. Bye-bye.